Fellow viewers, on question 22a, a straight line L is perpendicular to the line y is equal to 3x plus 4. Given that the L passes through the point 3, A and has 3 as its y-intercept, find the value of A. Find the value of A. So, fellow viewers, what is the eye-catching point is the word perpendicular. When two lines are perpendicular to each other, how do they behave? Okay, solution to this problem, we are saying when I've got line 1 and this line, I'll call this line 1 and line 2. They are perpendicular, they create 90 degrees. So when they are forming a 90 degrees, it means these two lines are perpendicular to each other. So we are saying line 1 and line 2, they are perpendicular to each other. Now in this case, we are told that one line is given to us. Imagine we are given this line as y is equal to 3x plus 4. Now, what is the relationship when two lines are perpendicular to each other? Their gradient, meaning the gradient for this one, which I'll call M1, and this one I'll call it at M2 since it is line 2, their product, M1 multiplied by M2, their product is always -1. That is their gradient. So their gradients, when you multiply them, they'll give you that. So it is very, very important for me to calculate the gradient for this one. So this one, how am I going to get the gradient? I'll get the gradient by this formula of the linear equation, where this M is my gradient. So M2, without wasting much of our time, it is a 3, because it is the coefficient of x is what we are calling the gradient. The coefficient of x is what we are calling the gradient. Therefore, I will replace it here, meaning that M1, which I don't know, multiplied by 3 equals to -1, which is M1 equals to 3M1 equals to this. To divide both sides by that, to divide both sides by that. Therefore, I have got this. This is my gradient for line 1. So my line 1, the gradient is equal to, my gradient is equal to this. So now, there I'm told this line, this is the line which passes through, or should I say the line it passes through this point 3, A, and it has got y-intercept like that. So there are many ways of answering this question. First of all, I can use the straight line method line, whereby I say y is equal to, remember, mx plus c. Now they have told me that the same line passes through this c is the y-intercept. This c, ladies and gentlemen, the c you see is the y-intercept. So this y-intercept is already have been given, it is a 3. Where is the 3 coming from? This is the 3 in the question. So the gradient, I've already found the gradient. Where is the gradient? The gradient, it is the -1/3. And the point, where is the point? The point is already 3, A. So now they want me to find the value of this. My A is y, because this is x, this is y. My A is y. Where there is y, I put my A. My x, I'll put a 3. You can see. Where have you gotten the 3? Because it is here, it is part of it is there in the question. So it is my x. So I replace where there is x, I put a 3. Where there is m, because this is now my m1, I put -1/3, which we found according to the principles of lines which are perpendicular. You agree with me that this and that will cancel each other, will remain with a equals to -1 plus 3. So -1 plus 3, you agree with me that the answer is 2. So the value of A is 2. So ladies and gentlemen, what is that which I've talked about? I said when two lines are perpendicular to each other, they create a 90 degrees. This is very, very important information. So that's why I'm saying in our question, this is an eye-catching point or word perpendicular. So you should understand when you multiply them, they are able to come up with what? With the gradient. Because with this one, from the look, by inspection, you can see that this is 3, this is 3. So my gradient is 3. So I have to find the for M1. So my M1, this is how I found my M1. I multiplied by, I replaced where there is M2, I replaced by 3, and then I came up with this one. So this is the gradient for M1. So now, since I've got the gradient, I had to replace it here, ladies and gentlemen. I replace it nicely, then I use the same point which have been given, so that I can come up with the value of A. So the value of A is 2. So please remember to subscribe. Tell your neighbor that my neighbor, I'm going to subscribe. Once more, Mr. Saube is on the scene. Thank you so much. God bless you. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, we're on question 22B. We are on question 22B. Under question 22B, the following should be noted. This is what we call quadratic functions. So what they are trying to tell us is that they are saying the diagram shows a sketch of the graph of a curve passing through. So it is passing through these points. Number 1, it is passing through negative 5, 0, which is on A, and B, it is on this point, which is negative 1, 0. Remember, this is question number 22B. Question 22B. We are almost winding up. Want us to understand. So without wasting much of our time, it is passing through here. This is the point where it is passing, and these are the coordinates we are given. So how do you come up with the equation? So to come up with the equation, ladies and gentlemen, it's very simple. Just first of all, you understand this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. Of course, this is set 1, this is set 2. So now I should come up with an equation. You agree with me that the first point, it cuts the x-axis at negative 1. The other point, it cuts the x-axis at negative 5. I hope viewers, you know where these are coming from. They are coming from the points where the x, and this is where the graph cuts the x-axis. So what will happen is this will shift, will go this side. Immediately it shifts, I'm going to have x plus 1, bracket. The other one, it will shift, it will be x plus 5, close bracket. Immediately you introduce the y, and it means you have come up with an equation, and this is the equation of the curve. So the equation of the curve, how did I come up with? I said the same points where it cuts, the graph cuts the x-axis. The negative 1 comes that side, becomes a positive. The positive 5 comes this side, becomes a positive, and we put them in brackets. And you just have to show that they are equal to y. So this is a function. So this is the first question, and this is our A. I hope I have made myself clear. So how do we come up with the equation? I said this x, if it is 5, it crosses the equal sign. I said if it is x is equal to negative 5, this 5 cross the equal sign. And the other one, if x is equal to negative 1, this 1 cross the equal sign. Immediately it crosses the equal sign, they are put in brackets. You introduce the brackets. You introduce the what? Brackets. And then you introduce the y. It means you have come up with an equation. I hope viewers will have understood on that one. Next, we are on B. How do we answer B? There are many ways of answering B. Rule number 1 is that B, you look at simple. Look at where these two. The first x is negative 5. Followed by the x, the other x is negative 1. So to find the value of x, it is negative. You add this, where it cuts, you add them. You say negative 5 plus negative 1. The whole lot of this divide by 2. And you are going to get negative 6 divided by 2, which is the answer is negative 3. So somewhere there we have got negative 3. This is the value for x. So I'm looking for the turning point. I'm looking for the turning point, which is TP. Turning point, it is given by x, y. So far I've got the value for x. What is the value for x, ladies and gentlemen? It is negative 3. I am remaining with y. How do I get the value for y? You go to the original function. What is the original function? This is the original function which we found. So they found that it is x plus 1 and x plus 5. You replace where there is a x, you put -3. I'm looking for the y. So this one, it is the same as -3 plus 1. The other one is -3 plus what? Plus 5. You agree with me that what am I going to get? I'll get something like this. I'll say, okay, Angel, remember here, were both negative. Yes, both were negative. So here, what will happen is this. We'll say, okay, if that is the case, this is -2, and that is the difference there, it is +2. So when you multiply, therefore y is equal to 4. Now be careful, it is -4. Be careful because the nature, it goes up. It goes up. So now instead of saying -4, you have to say it is a +4, of course. So my turning point, ladies and gentlemen, my turning point will be -3, 4. Why? Because it is going upwards here. This is where the turning point, somewhere there. So this is where the 4 is. So once more, this is how the 4 has come about. We are saying, how do we get the turning point? After you have found the values, after you have found the values, or should I say you have found the values, now you should understand that this is a maximum. Since it is a maximum parabola, since it is a maximum parabola, actually, for you to understand why we had to change a negative, why we had to change a negative, because I know for sure that the whole lot of this is the function. So now this is a function which we found here. You have to be very careful. You have to say, okay, since it is a maximum parabola, I want it to be a negative. So you have to put a negative in front. So it is, there are two ways. It's either you put a negative in front, then you write x plus 1, and then another x. So this is the maximum parabola. Why have I said it is a maximum parabola? Because it should do the value for a is supposed to be a negative. So a point of correction, which is very, very important to note, is that you insert a negative, because this one, it is a minimum, it will come down. So for me to have a maximum, I should introduce a negative. So equally with me, because of that negative here, remember there is a negative. There is a negative outside. There is a negative outside. It's just like I'm multiplying by -1 outside. So this negative will multiply this, so that y becomes a 4. So this is where this 4 is coming from. So turning point, no need of you putting an equal sign. Don't put an equal sign. It is a point. It is a coordinate. Do not put an equal sign. Leave it the way it is, because this is just a point. It is a coordinate. So this is how it should be. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much.